Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant with you. Today, kicking back with me, I've got Vanessa Demopoulos. Good to see you, girl. How are you?
What's up? It's so good to see you.
Well, listen, folks, I've got her kicking back with me today because she's got a fight coming up facing Emily Ducote on the same card that we've got Edson Barboza and Lerone Murphy. I'm working that one next weekend. I'm very excited about this one. So listen, great matchup for you. I feel like this one, you kind of have some familiarity with her going into it, right?
I do have a little bit of familiarity with her. We've actually she's come here to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
She's trained at Extreme Couture. So we've been on the mats together at the same time. And I mean, we've only done one round together, and it was like a
Okay.
quick, like one of those like 2 minute rounds. You don't get a whole lot of information, right? So
Okay.
it's not like we've done a bunch of sparring rounds together. So I think a lot of like our game is pretty niche to each other, right? Like we don't
Yeah.
know what the other one's game really is. But yeah, like we like went on a hike together while she was out here. We actually hung out and spent time. So it's
Yeah.
there's some familiarity there.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense then because I feel like at any rate, so many of the girls in the UFC are just familiar with each other anyway, right? A lot of you came up together. A lot of you have fought in another organization, or you fought here, or they fought your teammate, or this, that. Like, it's a finite group of girls, right? So I feel like a lot of you have some familiarity with each other anyway. But the fact that you have trained some, but not extensively, okay, that clears up the storyline a little bit. But
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
because like you never want to feel like people are going in there and fighting their friends.
Right, right. And I actually like just saw a story of that. Michelle Pereira is gonna
Hmm.
fight one of like his like teammates and friends, Roman, and I'm just
Okay.
like, oh my goodness, like this is gonna be like a tough one, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to fight your friends. Unfortunately, in the UFC, like once we're all like kind of here, we're all so
Yeah.
excited for each other, and we all talk to each other, so it does happen. It does happen.
Okay, so when you look at the matchup on paper, though, because you've won four out of your last five, so when you look at on, I know you're doing great. So when you look at it on paper, where do you find your advantages are going to be?
I mean, I think I have a lot of advantages in every situation that we're
Hmm.
in. So I'm really just looking forward to the matchup in general, going out there and being the best version of myself possible.
Good.
Just knowing that I'm going out there with like all of my weapons are super sharp. I'm feeling
Hmm.
amazing. I'm feeling good. And as long as I'm my best self on that day, it doesn't matter what the matchup is across from me.
What have you been doing for your preparation? Now you talk about extreme couture, and is this because my homie Alan Toban, like he knew you from back in the day, right? Like he was like, oh, that's my girl. We used to train together. So initially you were a California based fighter, right? But now it seems as though you're completely 100% Vegas.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about preparations. Like, I feel like I'm so comfortable finally. Like,
Good.
I
Good.
was, I was in California and then I got really, really cozy over in Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of politics hit the fan and I had to leave Phoenix.
Oh,
And then
that's
I
too
went
bad.
over to Denver and it's like just as I was getting comfy, it just didn't really feel right for me. And then I
Okay.
moved here to Vegas. So it's like, this is my second camp here with all the same coaches.
Mm-hmm.
My jujitsu coach from California, the one who gave me my black belt, is actually coming out to corner me as well, which he did
Nice.
last camp. And
Nice.
I'm so comfortable. I'm so happy here. And I
Mm-hmm.
think like just being settled emotionally
Yeah.
gives me a lot of permission to just be free in my training and just have like a lot more comfort with everything that I'm doing.
That's good to hear. And I don't, maybe you don't want to get into all the particulars, but that is tricky, right? Finding a new home, maybe trying out a gym, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. And you were just saying there was some politics there. I don't know if the politics involved, maybe other people they're training. Like sometimes that's the issue, right? Like you could be good and you could be on the come up, and they're like, well, I don't want you here because that means you're going to have to face this other person that we have or something. So, have you? Not like did you find the reasons that you did click somewhere, like you got some perspective to figure out what worked better, do you know what I mean, versus what doesn't work for you? Well, I guess I'm just trying to ask, how do you settle on the place that you settled?
I think it's like for me, I just have to like know that the people that are there with me, surrounding me, not only
Hmm.
have more knowledge in all of the things, because I've seen a lot,
Yeah.
and my coaches here are so good and they're
Hmm.
continuing to sharpen my tools. And I'm continuing to improve and get better. And I feel really emotionally secure with
Hmm.
my coaches. Like, I know that they have my best interest, and I know that they know more than me, and they're going to check me and put me in my place
Hmm.
and help me to grow as an athlete. And that's just so important. I feel like I'm constantly expanding and adding more tools to the belt and sharpening the ones that I already have. And I think that's just so important for where I am in the stage of the game right now. And I'm just really comfortable with the people that are in my corner. And that's
Hmm.
how I choose where I go. It's about the who, right?
Right.
Because we can live anywhere as fighters. Like
Yes.
there's different gyms all around the world, but it's the who that really should plant you where you're at. And I found that.
That's great. And yeah, and so yeah, trust is obviously a big thing of it because that's a word you've used a few times. So obviously, and that doesn't come easy, and people can break your trust. So I'm glad that you found somebody and a team that makes you feel like you can elevate. Now, I have a question too because you've been working on Fight Pass. You've been commentating on a lot of grappling. So, the story always is that when people commentate, when they're doing analysis work, it levels up their own game. So, if you've settled on this great training situation, and I'm curious, what have you added or what have have you found that you've been sort of, your eyes have been open to some things because of the analysis work?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Being like doing the fight analysis stuff that I was doing for Fight Pass.
Hmm.
And I started doing that about what, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And now I'm commentating a lot more jujitsu.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like quick firing and I'm rapid firing while I'm training. Like I'm thinking about things that it's like, okay, if I was watching this,
Hmm.
what would I be analyzing to try to better that game, right? Or what would
Right.
I be saying they're doing right or doing wrong? And I'm able to add that to my own tool belt. So,
Hmm.
yes, I feel like I have leveled up thanks to watching footage, watching tape, but doing the brain work behind that.
Hmm.
It's really helping to elevate my fight IQ.
That's awesome. And the great thing is you're conscious of it and it's cool because you'll get to the point where you're unconsciously doing it. You know what I mean? And that'll be cool. But it's like calling your own, like you're doing play by play in your own move. Oh, wait, no, wait, Vanessa, do that. No, if you do that, then like I bet
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah.
how it goes, right? No, lock that down. Oh, wait, no, she could get out over here. Wait, maybe I should like, yeah, you're calling your own match.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's actually like really amazing to see how different I think now
Uh-huh.
versus looking back like even 3 years ago.
Cool, very cool. So with the team in Vegas, so you do spend a decent amount of time at the PI as well, right?
Oh yeah, I'm here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, because that is one thing that there's been a couple of times where you've gone to flyweight and then you fight at strawweight, or one time you
No.
had a no. Oh no. Okay. So you didn't.
So the only I'm sorry,
Okay.
like you're right, but the only time I went to flyweight, that was a 1 week notice
Oh,
on my
okay.
UFC debut just to
Okay.
get in there. I am a strawweight fighter, even though I'm very big for the division
Hmm.
on my off seasons. I've gotten a lot of comments on that, trust me. But I am a strawweight fighter. I don't have any plans on going up to flyweight.
Okay.
I'm very comfortable where I am. I'm able to make the weight,
Hmm.
and I actually feel better doing all the hard work that I have to
Yeah.
do to make the weight. I feel like it kind of puts me better in shape for the fight.
Okay, yeah, that's my question because we do see a lot of the women are kind of going up and down between the two classes and there is some movement and sometimes let's say in a he boss situation it's kind of like, well, the matchup determines it. So I guess that was my question was, what's your willingness or what's your openness? You've got this great team, you've got the trust and all this. Where do you see it all playing out? And I guess you answered it. So you do plan to stay at strawweight.
I
Yeah.
do plan to stay at
Yeah.
strawweight, and you're so right. So many of the girls that are at strawweight are like bouncing up between flyweight
Yeah.
and strawweight, and I think it's really confusing to us that are like stable, because
Yeah.
I'm like, for me, it's like, well, who do I even look at in the division, right? Like, who do I get to look forward to? Who do I get excited about? Because
Mm-hmm.
are they even going to be in my division come their next fight? So,
Yeah.
it's a little difficult, and I know that like the weight cut gets harder for
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
like I guess as you get older. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
shit, I'm 35 and I don't have any plans of moving up in the weight class, nor do I have any plans of slowing down.
Yeah.
So I don't get that part of it. But I guess everybody is different.
Cool. Well, that's good to know then. But with that said, doesn't the champ train at the PI a lot? Don't you see Zhang Wei Li there when she's in
Yeah.
town? You know what? Like how I would imagine it's got to be great. And it's not to say that. I mean, listen, you've been a champion yourself, but so when you're there though, and you're around somebody like that damn good, that has to be inspiring. And I like inspiring. I would hope. Yeah.
It is inspiring. She
Yeah.
is the biggest sweetheart ever.
Yeah.
And I got to spend time with her when I trained in Phoenix, Arizona at Fight
Mm-hmm.
Ready as well. And she was just the nicest person there. And now that I
Mm-hmm.
see her at the Performance Institute, like she does her thing, like she has her camp and we don't train together. But man, it's just such like amazing vibes, like we give each other hugs and encouragement. And it's really cool, to see
Yeah.
like she's doing her thing in the same area that I get to do mine, and
Mm-hmm.
just to like see the mindset and the growth behind that. You said it. It's extremely encouraging to be able to be in the same arena with her.
I love it. And she's like a physical specimen. Like she does things sometimes. We're like, how, like what? How did you do that? Like she just. I'm just.
She's a great
It's
athlete for
yeah.
sure.
She
Yeah,
she
yeah.
really is. She really is. So like I mentioned before, you won 4 out of your last 5, right? So what are you gunning for here? And I don't know if you looking back. I mean, it was to Karolina Kowalkiewicz. She was on a tear. She only just now, lost a fight. She won her last 4 in a row. So
I was one of
when
those
you,
last four, damn
I
it.
know. So but when you look at that, do you see something that didn't work for you in that fight versus the other ones, because you were on your own win streak. So the ones that have been going right for you, do you notice the one thing on that one? Is it just the opponent that day? It just was her night? Or is it like, oh, I recognize how I made that error, and then you were able to fix it, right? So now you could be potentially putting together another win streak.
No, I 100% want to give hats off to Carolina. She
Uh-huh.
was, the best version of herself on that night. And but also like I should give myself some grace in
Hmm.
knowing that I was not in my best place,
Okay.
throughout the entirety of that camp. That was a really rough camp for me. It
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily the place, like that I was, but I wasn't okay that whole entire camp. And then walking into the fight, I really tried to like ramp myself up. I felt good walking into the fight,
Hmm.
but I think just not being my best self throughout camp really just affected that. And yeah, I've been my best self this entire camp, and I was my best self the entire last camp. And
Hmm.
so I'm have amazing energy right now. And I think that like that's why it's like we fight ourselves,
Yeah.
throughout a lot of the camp, like you fight different types of things, you
Hmm.
different situations, mental game as well. And I'm really big on like manifestations. I'm really
Hmm.
big on prayer. I'm really big on my spiritual growth and my spiritual journey. I'm a big Jesus lover. I love God, and I pray often. So I think just having that relationship right now, I'm very strong,
Hmm.
and I'm feeling really good right now. And I think it's like things like that. You can do all the physical stuff, but if your mindset's not in the right place, and I just didn't show up that day, and Carolina did.
Yeah, and that's 100% fair. And you don't, people, yeah, we're all going through something, right? Where everybody's going
Right,
through a
right.
struggle, and
Yes.
and and yeah, I might have had a really terrible 2 weeks. I don't then have to put my underwear on, walk to a cage, and fight another girl. Like I'd be pretty bummed out if you know what I mean. So I feel for you.
Yeah.
That's real, and you know I'm not the type, when people are like, oh, don't make excuses. Like they're not excuses. They're facts. They're facts that led into the whole equation of your performance. So, I kind of give people a break when they're like, oh, I don't want to say it was an excuse, but I had a really bad day. Like, I'm like, no, it's true. It's what happened, So,
Yeah.
it sucks. And it sucks because I've had a lot of friends that would say that like, they could have an amazing camp, but that day they didn't feel like fighting. Like the day they showed up, and it sucks. But the mental
Yeah.
health part of it is such a big deal. So that's great that you're aware of it and not afraid to speak out about that part too, because I feel like that's so important.
It is more than important, not just for us fighters, for absolutely every single body.
Yeah.
Every single person goes through different fights and different struggles emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
We just get to fight in a cage, but everybody does go through their own struggles, and nobody's alone in that. And I was definitely fighting a lot of them at that time, and yeah, I've been in a really amazing place recently, and I couldn't be more elated for that, having come through some different ones in my life. Yeah, I'm in a good place, babe. We're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm happy to hear it. So people should know, if and when you are victorious, what's the move? I'm not sure if DC's moving now. Do you jump in whoever's arms, or is it only if it's DC?
No! DC got victimized. That's what happened. Okay. I am sorry. I am sorry,
fun.
DC.
I love it. I think it's great. I don't think DC minded, if I'm honest.
I don't know. I gotta have that conversation with the dude, man. Cause no, even like with Michael Bisping, for example, I like
Yes.
blindsided him. I got too excited, and then I had literally said, because then the second time I jumped into his arms, he
Yeah.
was like, okay, yeah, let's have a redo.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna be done with this move, because I thought Michael Bisping was gonna be there again. It was at the PI
Right.
at the Apex again.
Right.
And so then when I saw DC, I got really pumped again, right? I was like, oh, I gotta do it. And yeah, I think that's like my signature thing now. I don't
Yeah.
think I can get away from it. So whoever you are who's coming in to interview me, be prepared, because I am very excited. And whether I want to or not, I'm gonna jump in your arms.
I love it. I love it. And honestly, you do most of the work. They just need to stand there because you're so strong and everything. Like you do the work. They just kind of need to provide. They just do a little bit of this and we're good, right? I
Just
mean,
be ready. Just be ready.
just be ready. Just be ready. Well, ideally, then, with Emily, is there a way that you would like to win the fight? Is there like a move you've been working on in camp that you're like, oh my God, if I could actually just pull this one off, it would be incredible?
Yes. 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 I got my eyes on that 50K. We
Okay.
shall see how things
Yeah.
turn out. I'm not gonna tell you though.
Yep.
I know you want to know. I
But
know
it's
you wanna
fair.
know. And
You
I
don't have
want to tell you. I want to tell you, girl. But we will see. And I'm just more than excited for this fight. I really am. I really am.
Cool. Cool. Well, I will have I'll be looking for it. I will be there. I'm working it. So, I'm excited to see what you have in store, but, just keep doing your thing. And it's great to hear that you're feeling more positive and that, the hard parts, not that they won't come again, but that, you're square on some stuff and that you feel like you're in a better place because, yeah, I know how much, like we said, we all go through stuff, but I really recognize what you as fighters and what athletes go through, and just the pressure too. Like, people may have a bad day at their job, and there's not social media telling them they sucked at their job that day. Like, I really feel bad for you guys and girls, any of us that are like, on the receiving end of just random hate. Like it sucks. And I'm sucks.
Man, internet trolls are they just are ruthless sometimes. And it's like, like we are real people on the other side of this, like social media, like I do look at my social media, like, and I genuinely love everybody too. So I'm always so like, man, why you gotta hate on me so hard, dude? Like, yeah.
I know it hurts. And like, even no matter how many times you tell yourself, you tell yourself, you're like, no, I know it's just trolls and it doesn't matter. But like, sometimes you're like, I know better, but it's still like, it still hurts. And then I'm like, I can't believe I'm like affected by this. But
It's okay. Because you know what? There's never someone doing better than you who's hating on you. And I personally love you. So when
Love
those
you,
internet trolls
Vanessa.
get to you, just come back at me and I'll tell you how amazing you are.
Right back at you, right back at you. And I know it. And I always say to my kid, too, I'm like, I need that Megan the Stallion energy where she's just like, you know what I mean? Whatever, whatever. So, yeah. So I'm glad that we were able to catch up because I've seen you. It's just like, this is how I feel like I've seen you, like at the jiu-jitsu tournaments or something. Like, hey,
Yes.
girl. Hey.
Yes. Well, those
So
couches, those were awesome, man. Like, what
that
an amazing.
was
That was dope.
That was really fun. That was really
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. All right, so cool. So we will see you against Emily Ducote. That is on the same card, of course, that Edson Barboza is facing Lerone Murphy. It is at the Apex next Saturday. It's going to be a good one. And there's, I feel like 3 or 4 women's fights on this card. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of girl fights. Yes.
Nice.
It's a girl fight kind of night.
Nice, nice, awesome, cool. Well, listen, I will see you out there. Best of luck. Glad to hear camp went so well. Love your energy, love your positivity, your enthusiasm. So just keep doing you, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you soon. Love you, Sue, guys.
See ya.